Okay, so hi. This video is gonna be a bit different from other of my live streams. I'm not gonna be solving a cube or whatever, like one of these. But basically, if you have caught up with the news for the past few days, you have probably seen that the infamous PSLE question that popped up. If you don't know what PSLE is, basically it's the primary school leaving examination. Everyone who takes primary school before they leave, they have to take part in an examination called the primary school leaving examination. This examination basically determines which secondary school you can enter, basically your high school, later in life. So that's a big thing that a lot of people are very scared for, because it's considered the one exam that kind of controls your life, which is definitely, it's kind of true, but at the same time you can kind of pull yourself up after life. But that's beside the point. Now there's basically a very infamous question that popped up today. No, in the past few days. I think on Friday there was the examination for the PSLE Maths examination, and there was one question that popped up in paper 2. I think people want paper 2. Either way, this question basically it gained in because it was considered very, very difficult of a question. So here's what the question is. Let me just focus my camera. Come on, camera, focus. Focus, camera, come on. Camera, focus. Come on, focus. There you go. Okay. So now you can see the question. So the question is, Helen and Ivan had the same number of coins. Helen had a number of 50-cent coins and 64 60-cent 20-cent coins. These coins had a mass of 1.134 kilograms. Ivan had a number of 50-cent coins and 104 20-cent coins. Now, part A is who has more money in coins and by how much. B is, given that each 50-cent coin is 2.7 grams more heavier than a 20-cent coin, what is the mass of Ivan's coins in kilograms? Okay, so this question, if in first glance, if you don't know how to solve it, I'll say that, my personal view, it's not necessarily a hard question. People are blowing up because it is considered a hard question, in a way. But it really depends on how you look at it. In a way, it's not a hard question. However, it is a question that requires a sense of understanding and intuitive thinking that everyone has, but not many students have been taught to be trained in this kind of intuitive thinking enough to be able to solve these kinds of questions. So I feel that that's the question. That's the problem, that a lot of our students are not being taught how to think in a much more intuitive way. So let's start with part A. So part A says who has more money in coins and by how much. Now let's reread the question. So Helen and Ivan had the same number of coins. Helen had a number of 50-cent coins and 64 20-cent coins. These coins had a number mass. Okay, this one we don't need a cap because this one is only for part B. Ivan had a number of 50-cent coins and 104 20-cent coins. Now, part A basically says that part A basically just says that we'll just look at the first sentence. Come on, focus camera. Okay, good. So the first sentence says that Ivan and Helen has the same number of coins. So let's just draw a model. So basically, Helen and Ivan, we're gonna draw a model here. Basically, we're gonna break it down. So basically, since they have the same number of coins, these two should be the same length. So these are the same number of coins. Helen has 64 20-cent coins. So 20-cent coins, she has 64 20-cent coins. And Ivan has 104 20-cent coins. And then these are 50-cent coins here. Now, this may lead to a lot of people to a dead end, and it is understandable that this will lead to people to a dead end because you don't really know where to break down these. Like, the number of in is unknown, and unless you learn algebra, which most students haven't learned yet, you won't probably be able to solve this question. But I implore you to then look deeper at the model. So look at this. So we already know that Helen and Ivan have the same number of coins, so these two have to be the same length. There is no difference whatsoever. But then if you look at here, these two overlap. So let's draw dotted lines here. And this is a model in terms of the number of coins, not the monetary value of the coins. So let's look at here. 64 is 104. These two overlap. That means this length is technically 40. Because 104 minus 64 is 40. So there are 40 coins here. Which means then that Helen has 40 more 50-cent coins than Ivan. And in turn, Ivan also has 40 more 20-cent coins than Helen. Now, in this case, we can now kind of break it down, because if you understand, 50-cent coins have their own monetary value, and then 20-cent coins also have their own monetary value. So in that way, we can actually find a total difference by finding how much each of them have in difference with the others. So let's say in terms of 20-cent coins. So in this way, we need to isolate in terms of 50-cent coin. Let's say in terms of 50-cent coins. Cent coins. Okay? 50-cent coins. Helen has 40 more 50-cent coins than Ivan. So 40 times 0.50 equals to $20. Which means that Helen has $20 more than Ivan in terms of 50-cent coins. Okay, now we found a way to segregate in terms of 50-cent coins. Now let's break it down in terms of 20-cent coins. So in terms of 20-cent coins, so Ivan has 40 more 20-cent coins than Helen. So we have 40 times 0.20 equals to $8, which means that Ivan has $8 more than Helen in terms of 20-cent coins. Now think about it. Ivan has $8 more than Helen in terms of 20-cent coins. Helen has $20 more than Ivan in terms of 50-cent coins, which would in turn mean that Helen has technically more money than Ivan, because her difference is larger than Ivan's difference. So we can find a total difference here. Difference here is $20 minus $8 equals to $12. That means that, and since Helen has more money than Ivan, it would mean that, Helen, come on, focus camera, has $12 more than Ivan in term Ivan is $12 more than Ivan. So that's the answer for part A. So as you can see, this isn't necessarily a hard way to find out. But you can see that it does require a form of intuitive thinking that a lot of our students do not learn until later in life, which I understand it's not really trained. It's more, most of our primary school training is more based on, we'll teach you a method, then you just plug in the values and just follow through the process, which is definitely not helpful when it comes down to these kind of questions, which do have these kind of methods. However, it does require a sense of intuitive thinking that a lot of students do have but haven't been trained fully in terms of. So now let's move on to question B. Given that each 50-cent coin is 2.7 grams more heavier than 20-cent coin, what is the mass of Ivan's coins in kilograms? So, from this we can actually break it down. So now, this sentence actually holds value. These coins have a mass of 1.34 kilograms. So it says that Helen's 50-cent coins plus her 64 20-cent coins are 1.134 kilograms. Now, we already know how many. So there is one definite. We know that she has 64 20-cent coins. So she has 64 20-cent coins plus a certain number, let's put it as n, of 50-cent coins, and that equals to 1.134 kilograms. Now, okay, first let's break it down. 1.134 kilograms equals to what? Is equals to 1,134 grams. Now, let's break this down. So let's just change this back to, okay, let's move this out. Okay, so 1.34 grams, in all that. Is that? Write that right there. Okay, good enough. Now you're just gonna write that down. Okay, good. So we have 1.134 grams in kilograms here. So then the consideration is that whether, so we know, so it states here that 50-cent coins are 2.7 grams more heavier than 20-cent coins. Means that technically a 50-cent coin can be considered just a 20-cent coin. It's just a 20-cent coin, just with an additional 2.7 grams. Just think of it that way. Now, let's put a hypothetical scenario. A possible scenario where let's say that since we already have the same number of coins, we can take the number of coins here, let's say a certain number, and then we just change all that number to a certain value. We want to change it such that it's easy to understand. So since we know that 50-cent coins is 20 cents plus 2.7, we already know how many 20-cent coins are here. 64. That means we can actually change this much to just a huge number of 50-cent coins. So let's change. So let's say a hypothetical scenario. If all coins were 50-cent coins, which, okay, let me put this, okay, let me try to break it down in a deeper way. Let's say we have a few pencils here and a few pens here. Now, we have 4 pens here. We have 2 pens and 2 pencils here. Now, let's break it down in a different way. These pens, let's put hypothetically, these pens have a different mass, unit mass, than pens. But we know what's the difference. We can take pens as lighter than, which should mean that actually we can translate this as pencil. This is actually just, in terms of mass, these are 4 you can consider this as just 4 pencils, actually. 4 pencils plus an additional amount of mass. So we're gonna do that way instead. So since we already know that 50-cent coins are worth a certain amount of mass, we can break it down that way. So let's put a hypothetical scenario where all coins are 50-cent coins. Okay, focus camera. So if that's all the case, 50-cent coins, which should mean we'll take 1,134 grams. We consider it in a case where we take this and then we add 64 plus 22.7 because this is the difference in between of masses. So if we were, so 50 cents is used this, so we just convert, we change all the 20 cents to 50 cents. So just get this much, and then it will be equals to, plug into a calculator here, into our calculator here. Okay, let's change this, but it's a bit harder for you to understand. 64 times 2.7 will be equals to 2,862 grams here. So that's if all coins were 50-cent coins. Now, if that was the case, that means we can now figure out how much is the mass of Ivan's. So if Ivan has 104 20-cent coins, means that since it's all 50-cent coins here, we can just minus off 104 times 2.7. So from here, we'll just change this here, and then we'll move it to Ivan's mass. Ivan's mass is equals to 2,862. Wait, give me a second. Oops, wrong calculation, sorry about that. This is actually 1306.8 grams. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, so we have 1306 grams. So 1306.8 grams. Remember everyone, make sure that you don't calculate wrongly. Make sure you sub in correctly. So 1306.8 grams minus, what's the value again? Minus 104 times 2.7 will be equals to minus 104 times 2.7, 1,026 grams of 8 grams of coins. So this is the answer for B also. So we have the answer for A, which is $12, and then the answer for B is 1,026 grams of grams. So that's the total weight mass. Now this, as you can see, it's not really hard if you, as you can see, I broke it down that way. However, you need to understand that being said, it's a very hard question that requires a different kind of intuition and intuitive thinking that a lot of our students don't really think about. And a lot of students, as in turn, should learn this kind of intuitive thinking if you want to solve and score for PSLE. Now, my personal opinion is that this question is probably going to be one of the decider questions, the judgment day questions, which means that basically, since everyone is crying about this, it's safe to imply that a lot of people are going to not be able to answer this question reliably or well enough to answer this question in a full way. So that's definitely a problem. Now, considering this, I feel that this is going to be one of those judgment day questions that I said just now, where, because not only people are going to be able to solve it, those who are going to be able to solve it are going to be held in much more high regard in terms of the marking system, which is a bit of a bad problem. But of course, as you can see from the questions, it's only 4 marks. So 4 marks is like, it's out of maybe like 80, 90, maybe 60 even, at least, at most. So really, this is not really that big of a deal. But in terms of moderation, this is going to be one of those decider questions. In terms of, it's going to set the real big difference between those who can solve it and those who cannot solve it. So this is a question that is a killer and judgment day question. Now, for those people who have taken the PSLE, who are watching this, because I am going to post this on my actual account, I want to say to you, please don't let this go to your heart. This is a hard paper. It was always a hard paper. This is meant to be hard. This is meant to set those who are good in math different from those who cannot solve math, which, I mean, you can set the morals, you can consider the morals your different way, but basically this is how it works. You know, it's meant to be hard. This question is meant to be hard. This paper is meant to be hard. It's meant to be the differentiator between the good and between those who can have intuitive thinking and those who don't have intuitive thinking. So I'll say this. If you cannot solve this question or you don't feel good about this question, please don't beat yourself up over it. It's one question, and these are also a few, and this is one paper out of maybe of the 4 papers that you have to take. So I'll just say to you, please don't take this to heart. You still have a few more papers to go. If you let this take this to your heart, you're gonna hurt your performance later in the examinations. So I'll tell you, please don't take this to heart. Please just understand that this is a hard paper, and don't beat yourself up over it for not being able to solve it if you cannot solve it. If you can solve it, then, well, you have intuitive thinking. Good job. But as you can see, it's not necessarily very hard to solve either. Okay, I won't say it's more of like, if you're not trained for it, you're not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy to solve. But it's gonna be a lot. But I'll say that please don't take this hard. Understand that this question is a hard question, and please study hard for your next few papers because you're gonna need it. So that's all to say. Thank you.